Are you too scared to even think about dating after coming out of a bad relationship? And maybe even on top of that fear, you still have feelings for your ex. I've been there, and so many of my clients have too. Today, I'm sharing a coaching and energy healing session with my client Leigh, who came to me for help with moving on from an ex, breaking the cycle of bad relationships, and the huge fear that comes up for her when she even thinks about opening up a dating back or putting herself back out there. She feels like she keeps dating the same man over and over again in a different body, and she doesn't know how to not do that. So follow along with us in this combined coaching and energy healing session where I help her understand why it's been so hard to move on from her ex and where that fear about dating is coming from. You'll also see how I help her release the subconscious blocks that are keeping her stuck on her ex and from opening up her heart to someone new. Make sure you watch till the end when we check back in with her about a week after her session to see how she's doing.
This is my biggest issue is I am so scared to even entertain the idea of getting into a new relationship or anything. Like I'm actually scared of like I want to fight. I want to that's always been a goal of mine, but I'm trying to change that because I'm like that's not really a I don't know if it's like a healthy life goal to be in a relationship with somebody, but I guess I've always had a really, really hard time getting over previous relationships, and it's like I'm finding the same person in a different body,
Yes.
and I'm kind of ready to stop doing that, but I don't even know how to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a great place to be. Like realizing that you are ready for a change and trying something different.
Mm.
I'm so glad you're here. And
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I want to just validate you. Like having a healthy relationship, that's such a good life goal. That was mine and yeah,
Yeah,
I'm in it now and it's worth it. So nothing wrong with that being a goal. It's perfectly
yeah,
normal. Yeah. So could you tell me a little bit more about your past relationships, what they were like, and maybe the most recent
yeah.
one that you're trying to get over?
So my most recent one was I was with him for 2 years, and what I do in a relationship is I lose myself.
Mm.
I because all I want is to be loved, so I will almost do anything. Like, oh, it's not that I stopped taking care of myself, but for example, a big thing for me was I love cooking, right? And I that's like a love language of mine. I will cook for somebody, make them an amazing meal, and then um go out of my way and whatnot. And this is just an example. And then when that relationship ended, I just stopped cooking because I was doing it for them because it was my way of showing them that I loved them. And then I stopped doing it because I was like, I've got no one to cook for. Um, I stopped doing it for myself, and I got
Yeah.
quite sick um,
Okay.
because I just wasn't eating. And I just put their happiness before my own. Um, Yeah, my at my last one, it was just I lost who I was so bad that
Mm.
once he broke up with me, I was just broken. I was a shell of a person.
I'm so sorry.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a year now, and I still find myself. I started dating somebody else after, but I took a lot of my issues from the previous relationship into the new one, and
Hmm.
it ruined it. 100% ruined it. And I still have got so much love for my ex that broke my heart, but I cannot let go of him. Yeah, I just can't let go.
Yeah.
It's like I still want to be loved by him, even though it wasn't a great feeling at the time.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh. So normal. So normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that ex, did he remind you of somebody from your past? Like, was he similar in any way to parents, caregivers, somebody you knew when you were
I
younger?
feel like he was a man's man, and so was my
Hmm.
dad. So I
Okay.
think that's where that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Oh, go
I
ahead.
think
Sorry,
so.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, because he's also like we're completely opposite. And I would always tell
Mm,
myself if we were having different views on stuff, opposites attract. Like, this is a
yeah,
good thing. He's challenging you. But no one liked him. Like, none of my
really.
friends or family liked him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, and I was ignoring that and ignoring all of the red flags because I just wanted, it's like I wanted to give him the light. Like, he didn't have parents or anything, they had passed away, and I just wanted to look after him because it seemed easier to look after him than look after myself.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense? And then I kind
Oh,
of put the
yeah.
expectation of him to look after, to fulfill my needs instead of doing it for myself.
It makes perfect sense. That's what so many of us
Yeah.
do. That's what I did. That's what I did for so long.
Yeah.
It because in this crazy way, it is easier to take care of someone
Mm.
else and to try to fix them and help them than it is to turn towards yourself because it's uncomfortable. Like we don't want to look at all
So
that stuff.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
uncomfortable, but it's so worth it because then you get
Mm.
what you actually want, which is real love, healthy love. So yeah, so glad
Yeah.
you're here and
Me
this is
too.
the
Thank
first
you.
step, just looking at these things. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really it sounds like you already know what you need to do, which is to
Yeah.
love
It's because I've
yourself
been,
more. Yeah.
since the breakup, I've been, I watch your little reel, not your little reel, I watch your reels
Yeah.
and see your post. Mine and my girlfriends actually got me onto your page.
Oh,
And there's so many aha moments when I'm reading these things. And I've been doing a lot of self work,
good.
trying to do a lot of self work in the last year as well. But I, it's actually perfect timing because I re downloaded Hinge and I was like, I'm going to put
Okay.
myself out there. And I just had to delete it. And it had only
Yeah,
been a few days. I couldn't even, I'd look at these men's profiles and I'm like, I can't do this. Like,
right.
I was too scared.
The fear can get really intense. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I'm hearing two main things that we could do some energy healing on, some releasing on today.
Hmm.
One is the fear
Yeah.
of dating. And then the other is letting go of your ex. And probably it's a little bit of like a mixture of both. Like one is probably feeding the other. But I
Mm.
think if we can focus on those two things, that should help at least get the ball rolling for you to feel at least a little bit more open and a little bit more comfortable with dating. I mean, there's only so much we can do in just one session,
Yeah,
but
of course.
this should definitely help with that. And it's so normal, by the way. I just want to keep validating that for
Yeah.
you. So normal
Thank
to be
you.
experiencing that fear because of what you've
Yeah.
gone through in the past. And if you don't mind, can I ask just like a little bit of what ended that
Yeah.
last relationship? You don't have to go into huge
Yeah,
detail,
no.
but
So, we had both been really, really unhappy for a long time. So we
okay.
were we were together for 2 years, and I have two daughters, and I was with their father for 8 years, and that was a very um like it was I would say we were like flatmates more than partners. Um, and then yeah, when that ended, I pretty much jumped straight into a new relationship. Um, and what ended it was he didn't want to be with me anymore, and he did start talking to somebody else, to another female.
Mm,
So that really
okay.
cut me because I had tried so hard to make it work. Um, yeah, and
Okay.
it came as a surprise, but I don't know. I guess in my mind, I thought he would try fight for us like how as much as I was, but yeah, it was destroying both of us, the relationship.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And that's a lot. That's very painful. And so I'm wondering, is that kind of like you mentioned the issues, some issues you were bringing into these newer relationships from the past. Is that one of them that you're talking about?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like never feeling good enough for the partner, and always fearful that they were just going to leave me,
Right.
and those insecurities would come out, and
Okay.
I'd start doubting myself, and yeah,
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And that's also something like I'm making a note of that. That might come up
yeah,
in our releasing and we'll see if we have
yeah,
time to get to that too. But that yeah, that feeling of not being good enough and there might even be some betrayal in there too. I mean, we'll see.
yeah,
We'll ask your
yeah,
subconscious, it'll tell us. But yeah, that's baggage that we carry around that makes it hard to be open to somebody else. Understandably so. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, Is there anything else that you feel is important for me to know before we start doing some releasing on the subconscious stuff?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are you ready?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to just walk you through this process. If you have any questions at any point, just stop me. I'm more than happy to explain what's going on here. I don't know if I asked you this before, but have you ever done anything like this, energy healing? Okay.
I've never done anything like it,
It's
no.
very cool. So
Okay, cool.
what I'm going to do right now is tap into your subconscious. And I do this through muscle testing. So muscle testing is a way to get yes and no answers from your subconscious. So this is a yes answer. My fingers hold
Mm-hmm.
strong. This is a no answer. My fingers come apart. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, I'm going to be testing as a proxy for you. My energy will step aside temporarily, and I'm going to test as Leigh here. So I'm going to ask your subconscious, what is the most important thing that we need to release to help you to move on from your ex? I think that's where we should start.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just make a note here. Okay, and I have a chart in front of me of dozens of different energies. And so your subconscious is going to take me to the exact specific thing we need to release. Okay. The first thing that's coming up here is something that's called a trapped emotion. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
very common type of suppressed emotional energy. It can be held anywhere in the body. I have a chart of like 50 or so different emotions in front of me. I'm going to find the specific trapped emotion that we're dealing with here. So give me a second. Okay, the first thing that's coming up here is self-abuse. What that means is being very hard on yourself, judging yourself a lot. Like you're nodding. Does that sound
Yeah.
familiar?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
So the only other thing we need to know in order to release this is how old you were when you first experienced this. So how old are you currently?
I'm 31.
31. Okay. So let me ask your subconscious when you first felt this. I'm getting approximately age 19. So with these energies here and the subconscious, it's approximate. So it's usually like plus or minus a year. It could have been 18,
Mm-hmm.
19, 20, just somewhere around that time.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually all that we need to know to release it. But if you're curious, if you want to know like what that was about specifically, we can ask. It's
Yeah.
completely up to you. Are you curious?
Yeah, I am curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a couple ways we can do this. If you think you know what it might be, I can ask, is it that? And the subconscious will tell me. If you have no idea, I can ask some general questions to kind of narrow it down. What would
Yeah,
feel good?
I have no idea
Okay,
right now.
so let me ask my general questions. I'm going to ask, does this have to do with your family? Getting a no. So family would be like
Mm-hmm.
biologic
Mm-hmm.
family. Not family. Something to do with friends? No, but something to do with romantic relationships. I'm getting a yes. So
Mm-hmm.
this doesn't necessarily mean you were in a relationship at that time. You could have been, but it could have been someone you had romantic feelings for, like a crush or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what was going on. Let me see if I can get some more information. Was this a one-time thing, meaning like an event happened? And I'm getting a no. So this meant this was kind of ongoing at that time. There were a couple of
I
things.
think I I
You think you
think I
know?
know. Yeah,
I
yeah.
can ask. Is it what you're
It's getting
thinking
me
of?
emotional.
Yes.
It is. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. What's coming up? If you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, yeah, no, of course. That's actually when I met my daughter's father, my girl's father.
Oh yeah.
And the communication was his communication was terrible, and he would go out and he was talking to other girls, and it just made me try even harder and harder. I was like, pick me girl, I think they call them now.
Oh,
Yeah, and I just wanted him to choose me over everyone else.
that's your subconscious is saying yes. That is what this
Yeah,
was. And it sounds
yeah.
like you turned that on yourself, meaning you were blaming yourself for his behavior.
Mm,
Does that sound right for
hmm.
the time? That's all that we need to know. If you are ready, we can release this. And then I will
Yeah,
speak to that in a second here. But yeah, you ready to
yeah.
release this?
Yeah, I am. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Yeah.
That's
I haven't thought
good. No,
about that
that's
for so long.
that's what we want because all this stuff has been buried for a while and we're bringing it up so that we can move it on out, meaning this is no
Yeah,
longer going to be in your system, at least this particular energy
yeah,
from that time. It will not come back. So
yeah.
let's release it. And how I do this is
Okay.
I have this magnet. and I'm going to run it over the top of my head 3 times. This is the main energy line of the body. It's called the governing meridian. I probably did that 4. I did. I do about 3 times. And
Yeah.
that releases it instantly from your energetic system. So
Mhm.
now what will happen is it will take about 24 hours to process out of your physical body. And in that
Mhm.
time, you can feel a number of different things. You can feel like you've let something go. You can feel like
Mhm.
a weight has been lifted, or just feel a little bit better. Maybe in this case, feel a little bit less judgmental of yourself. Yeah, let's keep going here because there's probably more to release around helping you to move on and
Mm.
let go of your ex. Let's see, is that correct? Yes, there is more that the subconscious is bringing up. Okay, so this is an exciting thing to come up. The next thing that came up is something that's called a heart wall. And a
Mhm.
heart wall is a very common type of suppressed emotional energy. It's similar to a trapped emotion, but with a heart wall, it's focused around your heart. And it literally
Mhm.
creates like energetic walls. So if you ever feel like I have a wall up, it's probably something like a heart wall. It makes it
Yeah.
hard to move on from an ex. It makes it hard to open to new people, to feel love,
Mhm.
to give love. So releasing these energies are really great for being open to new people, open to dating.
Mhm.
So let's see, just like the trapped emotion, I'm going to figure out the specific emotional energy here. Terror. That might be some of that fear about dating.
Mm.
That's a very
Mhm.
strong fear. Let me see when you first felt this. I'm getting approximately 14. So that was quite a while ago, but does that bring up anything? Do you think you know what that might be?
Yeah. I actually don't know. I'm wondering if that's because that's when I started getting interested in boys, and all
Let
of
me
my
see.
friends were getting boyfriends and relationships, but I wasn't.
Oh, it is from around that time. Yes. Do you remember something in particular being frightening about it or scary?
Um, I don't actually know. I know that I was a very shy teenager. Um, and I didn't feel pretty or anything. Like boys didn't seem that interested in me. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay. Would you like to dig a little bit and see what was going
Yeah,
on?
I'd
Okay.
love to. Thank you.
Because, yeah, it definitely was around that time. And it does have to do with what we were talking about, like you starting to
Mm.
date, your friends starting to date. Let's ask what the fear was about. Was it a one-time thing? No. Was it a fear of opening up to people? Yeah, I'm getting a yes.
Mm.
Which, like, it's funny, 14, I remember going through the exact same thing. Like, I actually
Mm.
used to get like panic attacks when thinking about dating and like when boys liked me. I would freak out. So like I think this is pretty normal.
Yeah,
Um yeah, that's what I'm getting. Just like fear of opening up in that way because 14 is so young,
it's so
truly.
young. I know.
Yeah. So I don't know, like,
And
I don't know if all of us are fully emotionally ready at like
no,
12,
not at
13,
all.
14, even 15 for,
Yeah.
a relationship and things like that. So that's what I'm getting here. It's not more than that, but some of
Mm.
that fear is coloring your experience now, just making it a little bit harder to be open to dating.
Yeah.
It's just reminding you of things from the past.
Yeah. Because I definitely, just as you're talking, I, even now, if a man shows interest in me, I'm like, why? Like, why? I don't know how
Yeah.
to act around you. Like, it's like I forget how to
Yes.
be myself.
And yes, it's probably taking you back to the time when you were so young that you really didn't know how to be around people, but there's also something deeper that could be happening. Like you
Yeah.
said, why? Why is this person interested in me?
Yeah.
There might be a deeper seated feeling, like you said, of I'm not good enough or I'm not
Yeah.
lovable. And so we'll see how much time we have to get to that today.
Okay.
That might come up. But what's really good for that too is guided meditations, hypnosis to get to the
Hmm.
deeper roots of where that came from because that didn't just come out of nowhere. There must have been something or
Mm.
probably more than one event where you got the message or you interpreted something as I'm not good enough when in reality that
Mm.
wasn't what was going on. So it can help go
Yeah.
back to those times, see it differently from your adult perspective and kind of shift those
Hmm.
beliefs. So that's part of what I do in some of my other work. If you're ever interested in that, we can talk about doing that
Yeah.
too. But that's a big part of healing those wounds, like rewriting those beliefs that you're just subconsciously carrying around. That helps a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you are ready, let's release that terror. Feel ready?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
please.
So here we go. Just like last time, swiping 3 times. Okay. I'm going to double check and make sure that was released. Yes. Terror is released. How you doing?
God, I actually feel like I felt that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt a little bit lighter. It was
Oh,
hard to
good.
explain.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of what I get. Yeah. People
Yeah.
will say, "Ooh, I feel like I just let something go." That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Like it felt like my heart did like a little like skipped a beat almost.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That because we
Mm,
released a heart wall. Yeah, that's exactly how you'd
mm,
feel it. Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
yeah.
Well, you feel ready to do some more? Keep going here.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Okay. So let's stay with your ex for now. I want to make sure subconscious is okay with that. Yes, there's definitely
Hmm.
more that we can release to help you to move on from that relationship. And it's another heart wall. So that's good.
Mm,
We're killing two birds with one stone here. We're
yeah.
releasing your ex, but also opening you up to somebody new.
Yeah. Because I'm actually starting to wonder if I've put like this last year I've thought all of my issues were from my last relationship, but I'm actually starting to wonder like, wow, it must have even been my girl's father, that relationship too, the impact that that has had and how much I'm still carrying of that.
Oh, surely. Yeah, usually
Yeah.
for all of us, it's not just our most recent relationship. It's
Yeah.
like our whole life. It's like everything. Because yeah,
Hmm.
if generally what happens is we don't process what we're going through. Sometimes we do, but a lot of times like we just either can't or we don't know how, or like when we're young, sometimes it's just not safe to do it. So we just
Mm.
carry all this stuff around and it's like a suitcase. We're just bringing it
Hmm.
from relationship to relationship. And
Yeah, definitely. And it's getting heavier
yeah, exactly.
each
So what we're
time.
exactly what we're doing is we're just lightening you up here. Like
Yeah.
we're releasing this stuff from the subconscious so that you don't have to carry that stuff around anymore. And you can make different
Hmm.
decisions. That's really what we're doing here. So
Yeah.
you're wise to start to do some of this work.
Mm.
So yeah, this is a heart wall again. And
Hmm.
let's see what this one is. Okay, this is a good one. This is effort unreceived, which is another way of saying unappreciated, feeling like you're doing all the work and the other person isn't, and you're shaking your head. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
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 It's similar to I was gonna say it's similar to unrequited love. There's a different energy that comes up for unrequited love too, but this one can also be associated with just giving and giving and giving and feeling like
Hmm.
this person just can't take it in. They have walls
Hmm.
up, it's going nowhere. Let's see. Let's see when we first experienced that. 28 approximately here. So this might not have even been your last relationship. Were you with him at 28?
I think that was at the end of my relationship with my girl's father. Um,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Let's see. Because I'm testing to see, like, was it with this most recent ex? And I'm getting a no. But did this
No.
have to do with your, like you said, your girl's father? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's ultimately why one of the reasons why I didn't want to be with him anymore because I was just exhausted and I thought I'm better off on my own than
Yeah.
in this relationship because I didn't want my girls to think that that was normal, that it was normal or yeah.
Yes. And that's, you did such a good thing for them. And the crazy thing
Mm,
about something like this, when we're carrying around this particular wound, is like if we're not conscious of it, we will just try harder and harder to get this person to love us. And so, what you're doing now by releasing this stuff, this will allow you to pull back and go, wait a minute, I don't have to play that game. I can actually just choose somebody
mm,
who I don't have to do that with. But
yeah, definitely.
it's so crazy how the subconscious works. That's generally what we're drawn to do with this
Hmm.
particular wound is just try harder and try harder. So, any questions about that energy?
No, yeah, I see exactly where it's coming from.
Okay. Ready to release it then?
Yes, yeah, I
Let's do
am.
it. Okay. So, releasing this heart wall, effort unreceived. Let's check, make sure that's clear. Yes. Okay. We are on a roll. How'd that one feel?
Yeah, that felt good.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, same thing happened.
Same in the heart sensation.
Yeah,
Good,
yeah.
good. Okay. That's what we want. That's what we want. We're literally opening up your heart here.
Mhm.
So let me see if there's more to release. See, this is interesting because we asked about your last relationship, but a previous ex came up here. And sometimes that's how it is. Like what's making it
Mm,
hard to get over the last relationship is something from before then. So let's see if
makes
there's
so
more
much
we can
sense.
do. Yeah, for your ex. I'm getting a no. So that means the subconscious wants to move on to something else. So do we want to move
Mhm.
on to the fear of dating? Not yet. Your subconscious actually wants to go more to that feeling of not being enough that you
Mhm.
spoke about. And that's a really common thing. So let's see what's there. What's at the root of that not feeling good enough feeling. Okay, so we have something called an unhealthy cord. And chords are just energetic connections between two people. And in this system, the only healthy chord you want to have is a heart to heart connection with someone who you're
Mhm.
in a relationship with or a family
Mhm.
member. Like you probably have heart to heart chords with your kids. That's normal. That's
Yeah.
okay. When it's somewhere else, that's when it becomes a problem. So let's first figure out who this chord is associated with. Does this have to do with family? Mm-mm. A previous relationship? Yes. So is this your most recent ex? Yeah. Let's see where this chord is located. Is it a heart-to-heart chord? It is. Okay. So when a heart-to-heart chord is showing up as an unhealthy chord, that means the relationship is over and this chord is just making it hard for you to move on. Like it would actually
Mhm.
be better for you to release this chord. So
Mhm.
how do you feel about that? What comes up for you?
Yeah, I'm definitely I'm ready to let go. Um yeah, I don't know why I'm still so attached to them.
It's
I've never
okay.
ever, this has been the only relationship that I've ever really struggled to get over.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. That's like I know that so well and that's so normal. And
Mm,
my best guess as to what's happening is there was something about that relationship that was like particularly sticky with the wounds that
mhm,
you were carrying coming into the relationship,
mm,
and that's what makes it so hard to let go of. Like I said, it probably has to do with him being similar to someone in your past. You mentioned your father. It's
mhm.
like it's not just about this relationship, it's about so much more. So
Yeah.
is there any hesitation on your end to release this cord? Like, does it bring up anything?
No,
Good.
no. I guess a part of me has been holding on because it's familiar
Hmm.
and the fear of, starting anything new with somebody else. I'm like, well, I'd rather stay in this familiar hell than
Yes,
look for something more beautiful.
exactly. And
So
that's
it's
like, you're
scary.
actually, it's scary. You're right. You're speaking to
Mm,
how attachment works. Like, even if it's a bad
mm,
relationship, we're still attached to somebody. So letting go of that attachment, it's scary. And so, really,
mm.
part of any healing process is just moving through that fear. So just know that, like, you're normal. There's not something wrong with you. This is
Yeah.
kind of how it works. So we're going to make that process easier. We'll see if we can decrease some of that fear there.
Okay.
So yeah, if you're ready, let's release this
Yeah,
this
I'm
cord.
ready. Yeah.
Let's do it. And typically what people tell me after releasing these types of chords is they feel like it's so much easier to move on from their ex. So I'm
Mm,
glad that this came up. And what your
yeah.
subconscious is saying here is this particular chord was a big driver of that not feeling enough feeling. Because as long as you're attached to somebody who kind of like triggers that in you, yeah, it will keep that feeling going. So a good
Yeah.
one to release. Okay. Let's see what else is here. How you doing?
Hmm. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good. My mind is running wild.
Well, no, that's okay. Is there anything that you want to talk through or that would help to kind of just
No,
work
I
through?
think it's just I'm like just having flashbacks to that relationship and the moments like I can remember when I didn't feel good enough and because I was it's like I was doing everything for him that I was wanting to receive. Does that make sense?
Oh, it
Like
does. Yes.
I was and it was never good enough for him because it's not what he wanted.
What did he want? Did
Um
he say?
um so the biggest issue he would have is he always wanted me to hang out with his friends more.
Mm.
and do things that he wanted to do more. And he said that he was always doing things I wanted to do, whereas I didn't think he was. We were just clashing on that, and I would try my best. I'd try hang out with him and his friends and try new things, but it was just never good enough. He always wanted more and more, but I really couldn't offer much because, I'm working, I have two children,
Mm.
running the house. Yeah, it wasn't as easy for me.
So it really sounds like you two weren't that compatible, just on a day-to-day basis, what you were looking for. Yeah,
We really, really weren't.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
that's hard to move on from because were there a lot of aspects of the relationship that you did enjoy?
Yeah, yeah. He was the first man that made me feel safe.
Mm,
So I felt
okay.
safe. So when he, betrayed me, it broke me, it shook me. Um,
That's so hard.
yeah. And because I did feel like I gave my all, and then, yeah, when that wasn't good enough, I was like, what is wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Because that was exhausting.
Yeah. And
And then I
and
realized,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, yeah, then I came to the realization that we just weren't meant to be together. We weren't a perfect fit. And then
Yeah.
accepting that that was okay. But so I feel like I've accepted that we're not meant to be together, but I still can't let go. I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes so much sense. And it's because of all this stuff from the past. That's really why. And
Mm,
it's like just from what you're telling me, it sounds like he gave you a glimpse of safety. And then the betrayal would absolutely shake your trust. And yeah, it can make you feel like, well,
mm,
is there anyone even trustworthy? Like can I trust anyone?
definitely.
And what I can tell you is if he did betray you in that way, he actually wasn't a safe person, even though he did
Yeah,
trigger those feelings of safety, which
yeah.
means that there is safety out there. It's not in
Hmm.
him, but it is out there.
Hmm.
That I can promise you.
Yeah,
So yeah, this
yeah.
makes a lot of sense. And thank you for being so open. Does it
No.
help to talk this through a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Good, good. So if you're ready, let's keep releasing here because yeah,
Hmm.
your subconscious says we're okay to do more. There's something else at the root of that feeling of not being enough. And it's a trapped emotion again. So this could be anywhere in the body. The body holds these energies as tension. And so this could be
Hmm.
like if you know, like I know that I have a particular place I hold tension, it's my neck. Different
Hmm.
people can hold it anywhere in the body, but usually your body's holding this tension somewhere in your system. So let's just
Hmm.
see what this particular trapped emotion is. Unsupported. And that's pretty self explanatory there. It's just feeling like nobody has your back, like you're kind of alone in this. Let's see when that is from.
Hmm.
This is from quite young, around age 8. Would you like to explore that more?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I actually think I had my very first panic attack at 8. So that's when I started to really feel
Oh,
big emotions, and yeah, I think I know what the reason is. Yeah, I think I know.
okay. Do you want to
Yeah,
share?
yeah. So I had a younger brother and he had muscular dystrophy.
Mm,
So I think growing up with a disabled sibling, your parents' focus is on them, which is so understandable. And I think I see that now as an adult. I'm like, my gosh, my parents, they were doing the best that they could. Um, and I think a lot of their focus and attention was on him, as it should have been.
yes.
So yeah, I think that might be part of
I'm
the
getting a
might be
yes.
the reason. Yeah,
Yes. Because
yeah.
yeah, you're actually seeing it quite clearly. It was
Mm,
appropriate that they focus so much on your brother,
100%.
and at the same time, that left you feeling not very supported, which both of
Mm,
those things can be true at the same time. And still, like, it still means that they were doing their best, but that's just kind of what
yeah,
happens.
yeah.
So that is absolutely the source of this. So yeah, if you're
Mm,
ready, we can release that.
yeah, let's release that.
Let's do it. Okay. So releasing this trapped emotion. of unsupported. Checking on that. That is clear. Okay.
Hmm.
How'd that one feel?
Amazing. Yeah, good. I feel so emotional now.
That's okay. Do you need to take a minute?
No, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
And I will just warn you that you might have some tears come up as these energies
Yeah,
process out. And that's good. Like it's
yeah.
it's a release. We want that to happen. It's like, have you ever had a
Mm.
really good cry and then you feel better afterwards?
Oh, 100 all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I'm all for crying.
Yeah, so this will probably bring up some tears and that will be really good. It's
Yeah,
lightening you
yeah,
up. So,
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I think
There's
I've a part of me, sorry,
no, no, go
I
ahead.
with the, my brother and everything, I've always been a little bit too scared to acknowledge those feelings because I didn't want to seem like resentful or anything towards him because that was never
Mm,
my intention because it wasn't his fault at all,
right,
at
right.
all. Yeah, so I've always felt a little bit bad to dive deeper into that.
It's understandable. Yeah, because like you
Mm.
said, it's not his fault and it's
No,
not your
not at all.
parents'
Or
fault
my parents'
either.
fault. No, not at all.
Right.
Mm.
And all of that being said, it's still okay to acknowledge how the experience was for you.
Mm.
Your experience is very real and very valid. And you may not need as much physical care as he did,
Mm-hmm.
but you still need some things. You still need some
Mm.
love and some support. And that's very valid too. So yeah, here subconscious is like, here you go. Here's the stuff
Yeah.
that you haven't been able to necessarily work through yet. We're gonna
Mm.
help you process that out. Really good that it's coming
Beautiful.
up because
Yeah.
part of this, like I'm so glad you shared about the experience with your brother because part of that dynamic can also make it hard to really feel like your needs are valid and your needs are worth getting met. If that was
Yeah,
what you experienced
definitely.
growing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So really good that you're starting to take a look at this and to see that
Mm.
yeah, your feelings are just as important as anybody else's. Let's see what else we've got. This is another heart wall,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. What is this one? Let's see. This is anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes sense too. See when that started. Around age 10.
Mm-hmm.
Were you still having the panic attacks around 10 too?
Um, I think I might have had one. I was definitely a very, very anxious child. Um, I can't actually remember.
Well, we can ask. Would you like to know a little bit more about
Yeah,
this? Let's
yeah, I'd
see.
love to.
Did this have to do with family? Not necessarily. I'm getting family was a part of it,
Mm,
but it seems like there was more than just that going on. It was like kind of everything at that time.
mm,
Let's see. Was there a one-time thing? Mm-mm. No, and what I'm getting is I'm getting that this is probably not the root of the feeling of not feeling good enough, but this is kind of like the outer layer. Like when we talk about
mm,
healing, it's kind of like peeling the layers of an onion. There can
mm,
be a core emotion or a core energy, but there's all these layers on top of it. And so it sounds like this is one of those, yeah, layers that are on top
mm,
of, I'm just checking, yeah, the deeper thing that you're experiencing.
mm,
So releasing this anxiety emotion can only help. But yeah, do you have any
mm-hmm.
more questions about it? I'm trying to see if I can narrow down more about this. Wasn't a one-time thing. Did it also have to do with school? Mm-hmm. Friends? No. So I'm getting kind of like a combination of family, school, just probably a lot of pressure on you at that time.
That makes so much sense, honestly. I'm like having so many flashbacks as
Mm.
you're talking. I remember around the age of 10, I always struggled in school, always was behind all of the other kids. So that would make me so anxious every time we'd have a test. I'd see everybody would be, filling out the tests and whatever, and I would just sit there like not understanding any of it. And
Ah,
yeah, it was a horrible, horrible feeling.
that's it. That's part of it too. And yeah, I think from
Mm,
what you like, there's something with home. I'm just gonna see if I can narrow that down too. Did it have to do with the kind of like the pressure on the family with your brother? No, it's not that. Family dynamics? Yes. Let's see if we can narrow this down even more. Having to do with your father in particular. So there was a contributing factor there too. Any
mm.
idea what that might be?
No, because he's amazing. I love my dad so, so much. He's a man of few words. So
Mm,
I
okay.
think with the relationship with him, I've always wondered how he feels about me.
Mm,
I know he loves me and my kids, but yeah, whereas my mum, she'll tell me how proud she is of me, tell me how much she loves me, and with dad, yeah, we wouldn't really get much of that out of him.
okay.
But yeah, he was an incredible provider, and yeah.
And that's what I'm getting. There is a certain level of anxiety when you don't hear the words, when you don't always know. So yeah, I'm getting that that was contributing too. It was just like a lot of anxiety around that time.
Mm,
And maybe at a time where you really did need to know that.
mm,
So yeah,
yeah,
ready to release it.
yeah, I am.
Okay,
Yeah,
good. So releasing this energy, this heart wall. Nice. How you doing?
yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. We're doing some good stuff today. I think
Yeah.
that we're going to now be moving on to the fear. Yes, the fear
Hmm.
of starting to date again. You feel ready for that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So, what's at the root of the fear that comes up, like when you open up the app or think about talking to somebody new? What's going on there? Heart wall again. Let's see what this one
Hmm.
is. Confusion.
Mm,
Yeah. And let's see where this is from, and then we can know a little bit more about that. Interesting. Around 8 again. So, I wonder if that was the time when you were feeling the panic. Yeah. Yeah. Is it related to what we released the last time? It is. So, what this means is that probably part of what was fueling those panic attacks is some confusion. Do you know what the
mm.
confusion might have been around?
No,
Okay.
no.
If you want, we can ask and see if we can narrow it down.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah, I'd
see
love to
here.
know.
Yeah. What is at the, like, what was the cause of the confusion? Was it having to do with family again? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A person in particular? Yes. It is around your brother.
Hmm.
So, maybe, okay, I think what the confusion was is kind of like what you brought today to this session, like feeling
Hmm.
like you did need some things, um, but feeling like, is it okay to talk about that? Is it okay to
Yeah,
even feel the way I'm
yeah.
feeling? That's a big part of the confusion. Is
Mm.
it is it more than that too? Yes. Hmm. Does this have to do with one of your parents? No, does this have to do with school? Yeah, so it's like what I'm getting is it was a lot of this was a combination between stuff at home and then stuff at school
Mm.
too,
Hmm.
contributing to these things. So, do you know what that confusion from school might have been?
No, I can't think of anything.
Okay. And that's okay. If you can't remember it, you
Yeah,
don't need to. It might come to you as this energy processes
yeah,
out. It might like you might have a dream about it. But if you don't, it's
yeah.
okay too. It could have just been something like it literally could have been something that didn't seem that big of a deal at the time, but
Hmm.
for the subconscious it was. And so
Yeah,
it just stores it, files it away, and here it is coming up
yeah.
now.
Could it have been, related to me not understanding the schoolwork and
Let's see.
um
Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So confusion on a number of different fronts. Yeah.
yeah,
And I'm assuming that going back onto the apps now can bring up a lot of confusion about like, am I ready? What do I even look for? How do I
yeah,
do
what do I
this?
even look for? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
So I think that's a lot of what's fueling the fear. So if you're ready, you can release that.
yeah, I'd love to release it.
Okay. Releasing this confusion. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
I
Okay.
am feeling a lot lighter.
Good. That's what we want. That's what we want. That's a great
Mm-hmm.
sign. Okay. There is something else here if you're good to do
Mm-hmm.
more. Let's see.
Yeah, definitely.
What's at the root of that fear? It's making it hard to start to date again. Find that love that you're looking for. It's another heart wall. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
This is okay. Unsupported again, which means
Mm-hmm.
that has been a particular theme for your life. When an emotion comes up over and over again, very normal, by the way, it just means you've had a lot of
Mm-hmm.
that in your past. So this is
Mm-hmm.
probably from a different age. Yeah, last time it was from 8. Let's see when this is from. I'm getting around 30. So not that long ago.
Yeah.
Probably your last relationship. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, any questions
Yeah.
on that, or does that kind of that make sense?
No, that it makes so much sense. Because yeah, when that relationship ended, like I was definitely supported by my loved ones, 100%. So yeah, I think it is that relationship.
Yeah, and I'm getting a yes on that because yeah, you
Mm,
can be supported by friends and family, but if you're not supported in your
yeah.
relationship, that will really weigh heavy on you. Ready to release it.
Yes, please.
Let's do it. Okay. Releasing unsupported so that you can have a partner who supports you. So you're not
Mm,
choosing from this place of like I need to heal this like this is what we do subconsciously
yeah.
like I need to just fix this from the past.
Mm-hmm.
But the answer to truly healing these patterns and shifting them is to choose differently. Choose a person who you don't have to beg
Mm-hmm.
for that support. Just choosing a person
Yeah.
who already shows up supportive.
Yeah.
So much
Because
easier.
that what I found in my past relationship and even because yeah, I did see somebody since him. Um, their support was pretty much telling me exactly what to do,
Mm,
and then expecting me to do it.
okay.
But I don't even know if that makes sense. But
No, it
because
does. It does.
I just they would do things so differently to me. It just never felt right, and yeah, I couldn't
And
follow through with it.
yeah, it's like it's support, but it's not the kind that you actually needed.
No, not at all. It
So it
wasn't
wouldn't feel
helpful. It
supportive.
made
No.
no, it made my life harder.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It isn't what you need. And that's,
No.
that's a good point about relationships and even love languages too. Like we can give what we think the other person needs, but if it's not what they need, it's like you're not even doing anything. So part of what
Hmm.
we have to learn how to do is learn how to give what the person actually needs. And
Definitely.
if your partner can't do that, then it's not a great relationship. It really
Mm,
isn't. Because, like you said, it makes your
yeah.
life harder. And that's not what we want out of
Yeah.
relationships. We're supposed to make our lives easier. Of course,
Exactly.
there's still hard times, but
Yeah, of course.
in general, it shouldn't feel like that. So
Yeah.
there's actually, I'm going to let you go in a second, but there's one more thing here that your subconscious wants to release. Are you okay with doing
Mhm.
one more?
Yeah, of course.
See here. It's not, is it, let me see. Is it the fear of dating again? It's something else. It's like something we haven't talked about. So I'm going to just
Hmm.
let the subconscious take us because it's saying
Hmm.
this is important. So what is coming up here? It's a trapped emotion, anger. Okay. Very normal too. Let's see when that is from. 10. Want me to ask more about that or do you know what that
Yeah,
might
yes,
be?
please.
Okay.
No, I'm wondering if it's just like a combination of all of the things that we've already spoken about.
I think so. Yeah, more having to do with the family dynamics. Yeah, maybe feeling some anger about
Mm,
not getting all of your needs met. Yes. And
mm,
this is very, very common. A lot of us, and I include myself in this, I used to suppress a lot of my anger because, like you, I saw like kind of the bigger picture and I felt like I don't really have a right to be angry in this
yeah,
situation. But you were
definitely.
angry.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's okay that you were because that was a difficult
Mm,
situation to be in. And how
hmm.
we talked about your parents were doing the best they could, but you
Mm,
also needed some whatever you needed at that time, help, communication, support.
mm,
So that anger is valid. And actually the more that we can
mm,
get in touch with that suppressed anger, the better our boundaries are. It's actually that much
mm.
easier to say no to those people who don't show up supportive or who hurt us. So it's actually really good that this is coming up.
Yeah, because that's something I cannot do. I'm actually learning how to put boundaries in place for myself and learn how to say
Yes.
no. It's so hard.
It is, because what happens is we get imbalanced with our empathy. We have so much
Hmm.
empathy for other people that we actually have very little for ourselves. So you have to come back into
Hmm.
balance. And part of that is getting in touch with that justified anger in situations where,
Mm,
yeah, like it was appropriate to be angry at that. Nothing wrong with that at all. There's
yeah.
there's space for both your brother to have had his issues and for you to have your stuff going on too.
Mm,
And for a lot of families in that situation, it's not always clear to,
mm-hmm.
someone like you in your position. And so the best we can do
Yeah.
is just address it now as an adult and
Yeah.
yeah, start shifting those patterns. So are you ready
Yeah.
to release that
Yes,
anger?
please. Yes, please.
Good. Here we go. Releasing anger. Beautiful. Okay. So let me see. Is there anything else? No. So the subconscious stops me when we have done
Mm-hmm.
all that we can do for right now. It doesn't want to overwhelm your system with
Mm-hmm.
processing too much at once, so it stops
Yeah.
me. And so this will take about a week to process out.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I said, in that time you can feel some ups and downs and maybe some tears and
Yeah.
maybe some memories, but all of that is really good because that's ultimately going to just lighten you up and open your heart to a great
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So how are you doing at the end of
Beautiful.
all this? That was a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that was a lot. I'm feeling really, really good. And just when you were talking then, even looking back at my childhood, I'm now thinking about my children
Mm.
and, me being more present with them. And I don't know, it makes me want to try even harder with them because, yeah, it has been a rough few years for them.
Yeah. And that's a
Yeah.
beautiful impulse. And I think that
Mm,
that could only help you and your family to just do it. I mean, do what you can to be present. There's
yeah.
like I would say don't take it to the extreme to the point of where you're exhausting yourself, but whatever you feel
Yeah.
like you can do would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm really good. I've been really looking forward to catching up with you and seeing how you were doing because I heard from you right after the session that you felt so much lighter. So yeah, I'm curious how your week went and how
Yeah.
you're doing now.
Yeah, I definitely felt so much lighter just after talking to you. Yeah, I almost didn't want to go back to sleep. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I did find during the week I felt quite anxious and I didn't know why. Like
Yeah.
I just yeah, it's really, really hard to explain. And I was like, wait, is this what Lindsay was talking about?
That's a
Yeah.
really normal experience to have because and I felt this too actually. This was typically how it felt for me when I was doing this type of work. I would feel like amazing, like right after the session for a couple hours, and then something would happen and I would start to feel anxious. And what I realized was going on is I was literally like processing out the energies, the emotions, and when you're doing that, you actually will feel anxious because what those emotions are, like that's what makes up your ego, which is like your comfort zone, the way you view the world. And so as you release that stuff, like literally your ego is getting smaller. You're coming out of your comfort
Yeah.
zone. So yes, you will sometimes temporarily feel a little bit of anxiety as you come out of your comfort zone, but it should subside. Did it eventually subside for you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I started to feel normal again, I guess you could say. I think I was more aware to my of my emotions and, things that had happened in my childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that was just me processing it. Um,
Yes.
I had so many aha moments, like, oh, that must be
Good.
why I feel this way or think like this.
That's amazing when you start to make those connections because making those connections then helps you to shift long-standing relationship patterns and figure out, oh, like that's why I'm doing this. Okay, and now I can make a different decision. So
Definitely.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I don't know. I think I've realized why I'm so attached to him. Just when we were talking and I mentioned like my dad and stuff, I can now see the similarities and I'm like, that is why I am so attached to him. And I'm like, okay, well that's not what I want. So yeah, I think it's been amazing. I've been telling all of my friends about it as well. Because I came into this, I had no expectations. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to get out of it. And I guess after our call, I felt less crazy because I thought so
Mm,
much of this was in my head. And then afterwards, I was like, oh, no, actually, your feelings are valid and these things have happened to you. And you've been
good.
holding on to it for so many years. So it was just kind of like, it's like you gave me permission to let go of a lot of
Mm,
things.
good.
So that
Okay.
was really, really nice.
I'm so glad. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to validate you, and I'm here to, yes, exactly, to give you permission that it's okay that you're feeling these things and you can move through them and yes,
Yeah,
let them go. Even though like letting go technically means like you feel it, you accept it. But
yeah,
that leads to being able to let go of what you've been carrying around. So I couldn't
yeah,
really ask for anything better. I mean, that's great. And I want to
yeah,
thank you so much for being open to doing this and being open to sharing your story. I know, if I do decide to share this, I know that so many women will be able to relate and will see
mm,
themselves in your story and be like, I'm not crazy either. Like I too
no,
can accept myself and feel like I'm okay and I too can move forward. So, yeah,
yeah,
thank you again. If you want to be featured in a YouTube session like my client Leigh, I do those free of charge. Click on the link in the description to be added to the waitlist. I'll contact you as soon as I have a spot available. And if you'd like to work with me privately, not here on YouTube, there is a link in the description for that as well. And if you'd like some more tips for what to do when you're scared to date after a bad relationship, check out this video here.